Unfortunately, that happened at the wrong time.
Mm.
You know, when it's time for rugby, it's time for rugby. When it's time for soccer, then it's time for soccer.
Okay.
So that time it was time for rugby. It was time for pushing and shoving and tackling. And but unfortunately, today I'm sitting here. I feel like I got robbed of that opportunity to bond with my son, to raise him the way I want to teach him the stuff that I want to teach him, to be around him when he's forming his early years.
Yeah.
Me and my son had a very close bond, even from birth. We were very tight.
So you were there at the birth of
I
your
was
son?
there at the birth. I was there up until, I left my son's side when he was just over 2, going to 3. Just about your son's age.
Yeah. So my son just turned 2. Yeah.
Yes. And as a father, there's times you bathe him, there's times you...
That's true, man. I feed him, I dress him.
Feed him. And the bond you create during that moment, it's irreplaceable, because I see it sometimes when I talk to my son on the phone, and the way he responds, the energy he brings back, and and he's such a lovely soul, to the point where I feel like I've messed up so much that I've let him down. He doesn't know that I've let him down yet.
He doesn't understand the
but at some point he's going to be wise enough and smart enough to understand what happened. And that is why I wanted to do this kind of podcast, so that 15, 20 years later, when he bumps into this, he can basically maybe look at me in a different
and understand
eye. But if it doesn't happen, I'm still good. I still got my peace.
True,
and managed to, make peace and settle with myself.
So what happened during that time, before we get back to you and your partner at the time, between you and the child, from the birth and the separation of you and the child?
Oh, the birth.
What happened?
The birth was awesome, dude. Awesome.
So you were there in the room?
Not in the room.
Okay.
Not in the room. I was actually doing a gig in Rustenburg when he was born.
The
night he was born, I was gigging in Rustenburg. But then I came back, I think on the Monday.
Okay.
Then on the Monday when I came back, my ex's family at the time had picked her up from hospital and taken her home, and that's where I saw her and got to meet the child and everything. And then after that, I did everything with her. Clinics, I was there, taking her for her first clinic
and everything.
Home affairs, that birth registration situation. I wanted to be there so much, but things happened and I was away, and she had to do it, and she eventually did it without me. And that time after we met, it was all good, bro. I was not a complete useless guy.
Yeah, okay.
I was not a complete useless guy. I was that guy who tried what he could. And
so you had some sort of direction. I knew where you were heading to,
and I had everything figured out up until this baby came. When the baby came, I had to now
things that changed. Everything. Yeah.
And I really poured my heart into it. I even moved, started to try and, get myself into a stable situation so that I can be a better father and be in a space where I can welcome him, be able to raise him well and all of that. So that was all the stuff that consumed me at the time. I wanted to do it so much. I wanted to step up so much. But things changed when lockdown hit.
But before you get there, do you feel as though you would put too much pressure on yourself to not be your father? Or did it just happen that you just wanted to do things differently? Is this you putting pressure on your personal self? Or you just found yourself just naturally wanting to do things differently?
You know what? I found myself in this situation, and then I immediately accepted and took accountability and responsibility of the position I was in. And I decided with my heart that, you know what? Yes, I have a career that I'm working on. Yes, I want to achieve a lot of things in my life, but I cannot leave this boy idling. I really need to be there. And which is the reason why I'm still trying to keep contact and stay in touch with him. Yeah. I've even seen him for over a year now.
So I'm going to assume that this was not a plan, right? This is something.
This wasn't a plan. I had to step up and become a man that I had not planned on to be.
At the time, there was not.
Me when we met with this girl, I was just playing. At some point, I even told her in the relationship, and I told her, I was like, hey, when we first met, it was just a hit and run.
One of those things, yeah.
It was just a hit and run situation. But since there is somebody involved now, I need to step up. And that's why I stepped up and I stayed close to her. And even when she told me that, listen, dude, I don't feel this anymore. I don't want you anymore. I don't want this anymore. And as a guy that is going through his own vibe of mental issues, where you are unemployed, your income is stopped. You can't do anything, and there's days where there's no food, and she comes to you and she says like, so what's the plan? And I'm like, I have no plan. And she will go for that one time, go ask her sister or her mother or somebody in her family to help out, and that help out for that moment. And it eventually, built up to this thing where I was becoming a useless man in her life. She even said it in her own words at some point.
She voiced it.
Yeah, she voiced it that, you know what, you're so useless. You are not worthy to keep around. I wish I could just, take you, go drop you somewhere, and you become someone else's problem and not my problem. And at that time, it hurt like... It hurt.
Can imagine.
You know when you feel crushed?
Yeah.
But after the crash, you're still alive. You're still alive. And to be honest with you, everything that happened during that time with me, that's all the lessons I had to learn in hindsight when I think about it now. This woman changed so much after I could not provide. Changed completely. This
is in the pandemic, you say?
This is right in the pandemic, my brother. Right in the pandemic and just after the pandemic. And she changed, my brother. She started going out like nobody's business. And she started drinking like nobody's business. Ooh. I mean, at random times, there'd be guys knocking at my door. And when I open the door, she's standing there about to fall over.
Whoa.
And I have to help her in the house and that kind of vibe.
Wow.
That's the kind of situation I was in. And remember, me, I'm this multiracial education kind of guy that is kind of like,
You're a bit more open-minded.
Open-minded and accepting on certain things. I can, level up on certain issues and stuff like that. So it became that situation. And then it became a situation where she started sleeping with neighbors. And she started sleeping with her best friend's boyfriend in the same vicinity. Like in this complex we are in now.
Goes 2 blocks
she just goes 2 blocks down the street and comes back. And it became that thing. And I felt
that's degrading.
Yeah, degrading. I felt powerless.
Strips you of everything, yeah.
And but at the same time, I don't know where I got this mind. I still had that thing to want to try. Yeah. But to be honest with you, I didn't know what I was trying for.
And the child is already there at the time.
Child is there. So my excuse for overstaying in that toxic situation is that I didn't want to see what is happening to my son now.
Yeah.
What I was trying to avoid by overstaying in that toxic environment
is now what's happening.
Is now what is happening.
With you in it, yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
So it happened like that, and eventually, when you have a girlfriend that is an alcoholic, and she's not aware that she's alcoholic, and she has a circle of friends and family who are also alcoholics, but they are not aware that they are alcoholics.
So no one has accepted the reality that this is our issue.
So for them, it's just normal life.
Yeah.
Siyaphuza vele thina ngama weekend.
Siyaphuza Friday, phuza Saturday.
Siyapshaya vele. As long as bukhona siyapshaya. So she started revealing that side of herself, along with the little, I don't know what to call it, flings or relationships or whatever she was doing on the side. And now I started, catching messages on the phone. If it's not on the phone, then it's probably her sneaking around in the house.
So at this time, are you guys still dating, or you just now just partners in the house? You're just now cohabitating?
Dude, we're cohabitating.
So at that time, the relationship is done.
Actually, listen, the relationship was done long time ago, right? But as soon as she says the relationship is over, I don't want you anymore, and blah, 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 we'll get into an altercation or an argument, and then there's a fight, and then there's like other guys, her inkabis, if I can call them that way. Yeah. Because eventually the situation escalated to a point whereby if me and her have an argument or a fight, I'm going to start hearing from her brothers, her cousins, her friends, her boyfriends, and that kind of...
So now she's taking the matters from inside, taking it outside.
And now she's bad-mouthing me to everybody that she's
in contact with,
getting alcohol from, getting food from, and getting whatever else from. And she started slowly painting me as an abuser, as a guy that's not okay upstairs. Like, you know how women can actually make you mad when you're not
very
mad?
Manipulative, man.
You will see her coming out of a guy's car and be like, I saw you coming out of that car. And then she'll be like, no, man, it's your
imagination.
It's your imagination. You see what I told you. You need to get a job. You need to get a job. You see what I told you? Ooh. This thing of yours of not working is making you... is making you...
making you see things now. Play with your mind. Wow.
And tell you what, né? The kind of manipulation that women in a relationship master over the guy still needs to be studied. The kind of power and manipulation, and listen, a woman can make a guy drive from Joburg to Cape Town.
No, that's true.
A woman can make a guy drive from here to Cape Town, but if that guy is at work and he's on duty and they ask him to take a trip to Cape Town, he's going to be like, hey, Cape Town, you're so far.
He must pay for everything, you must say.
But a woman will make you jump out of a flat and...
Men pay for trips for women to fly over, like really.
You understand? So for me, I was caught up in a situation where I now, because of not understanding who I am and saying, actually, these people don't know me. You know, and at that time in my head, I'd be thinking of her, I'd be thinking of her family, I'd be thinking of her friends and all the guys around her. Yeah. And I'd be like, actually, these people, they don't know me. They don't know what I'm capable of. They don't know what I can do. They don't know what I still plan to do. But unfortunately, at that time, I was just a mahlalela. You know, just a nobody.
Just one of your low moments at that time.
All of those.
Yeah.
And look, at the end of the day, that is why I was even speaking at Men's Dialogue in Mohale City last week. And as I was speaking to the young guys, I told them, I said, I don't want my story to be a revenge to this woman.
This person, yeah.
I don't want my story to be a situation where I'm trying to create toxic realities within it. But I encouraged young guys to focus on themselves first, which is the biggest mistake we do.
Yeah.
We don't, as guys, we don't focus on ourselves first and say, let me build myself up to where I have a decent house, I have at least a car, I can pay your own funeral policy.
Yeah, because you need one. As a man,
you can pay your own funeral policy and do all of those things. And build yourself. Like, properly build yourself. Don't take shortcuts, because it's very tempting to take shortcuts, but it doesn't work in the long run. And, you know, us guys, everything that happened to me in this relationship, I'm going to try as much as I can between now and the rest of my life to not try and paint this woman as the devil. Even though she acted like one a couple of times, and, you know, I saw the tail and the horns, but but I do not want to keep her there and say, she did this to me. What she did to me, in her own way, I now, in hindsight, after counseling and all of these things, you know, and remember, for guys to go to counseling, it means they have no choice.
Yeah, that's you know, when say you've hit rock bottom. Yeah, that's when you be
when you willingly submit yourself to counseling and seeing people that can assist you and all of that. And by the way, I know we're jumping all over the story, but you know, at least
it's a conversation.
Yeah, and you know, there was a time when